a special program of films on Canada Day. It's a sort of it's kind of all over the place a little. There's a great shorts program that Magali Samard put together with a number of classic Canadian shorts, including Walking, a great Academy Award nominated short film from the 1960s or 1970s, I think. Exceptional movie. It's actually done by the filmmaker, forgetting his last name, Ryan. He was the subject of Chris Landris' great short, Ryan. And we'll be showing The Hockey Sweater, the adaptation, the animated adaptation of the Roche Carrière story, Log Driver's Waltz, which is a great NFB animated classic, set to a song by one of my favorite singing duos, Kate and Anna McGarrigle, and Blinkety Blank, the Norman McLaren film, the sort of abstract animated short cut to an Oscar Peterson tune, and also one of the great NFB shorts, Romance of Transportation in Canada. And the features will be showing Crazy, the great a feature from Jean-Marc Vallée about a young man in Montreal in the 70s coming to terms with his sexuality and his family, and it features a great score. There's an awesome set piece in a church that's cut to Sympathy for the Devil, and an amazing piece of work that won the Best Canadian Feature Film Prize here a couple years ago and was a huge success in Quebec and elsewhere, and did well when it played in Venice as well. A great movie, a lot of fun too. We'll also be showing a rarely screened, I don't think it's been screened in decades, a film called Voulez-vous coucher avec God, that was co-directed by Michael Hirsch and stars one of the a legendary 60s icon, one of the Tully Kupperberg, who was in the Fugs, a fairly notorious social satire band. It's pretty. It's a very crazy piece. It's kind of intense, funny, a very. I guess now they call it transgressive, because it's not a standard representation of the deity. And we'll also be showing a Black Christmas, which is a key film in Canadian film history. It's largely perceived as the first kind of slasher movie. It was directed by Bob Clark and has an amazing cast, including Margot Kidder, Olivia Hussey, Keir Dullea, Andrea Martin from SCTV is in it. A very it's although it's often perceived as the first slasher movie, it has some very I think that's more like the first North American slasher movie, because it obviously has links to some of the Italian horror movies of the 1960s, films by Mario Bava and Dario Argento. A really it still holds a lot of power. I mean, even though it's more than almost 40 years old. I think it is 40 years old. Oh no, not quite 40 years old. It still packs a punch, and is extremely creepy, and is rarely screened. So it's great to show that. And
we just had an article on the magazine, by the way, about horror movies, Canada's kind of history and obsession with it, and Black Christmas featured quite heavily on it. So, yeah, read the article and go to the film. That would work out well.
We do have a long horror movie tradition, yeah. We're also screening a documentary on Mary Pickford, linking in some ways to, well, in obvious ways, to our exhibition about Pickford that's in the on the 4th floor of the Bell Lightbox, the Canadian Film Gallery. Pickford was, of course, a seminal figure. She was one of the first movie stars, was born and lived on University Avenue for a long time, and then went to New York to work in theater, and then wound up being recruited by Hollywood, and was one of the seminal film stars. When you go to the exhibit, it's amazing how marketed she was and the extent to which she was marketed. And she was also, I think, one of the first film stars to really take control of her own destiny. She founded United Artists, one of the major independent film production companies in Hollywood, with her husband at the time, Douglas Fairbanks, and some British gentleman named Charles Chaplin. I think it'll be a fun Canada Day. It's a nice mix.
Yeah, a nice, so pretty much a little bit for everybody, and a nice way to get the short films featured too, which is sometimes hard to find.
Yeah, and I think they'd be great for kids and parents alike.
Yeah.
Probably not so much Black Christmas, maybe not for children.
Yeah.